All right, we got a video by Ace, and apparently Kirara is actually a special grade. Let me explain. And honestly, I don't know what he's even gonna say for Kirara to be a special grade. Like, maybe it's the curse technique somehow. I don't know. This is just the weirdest title I've ever seen. But let's see what he's talking about.
A couple weeks ago, the 6th episode of Jujutsu Kaisen's 3rd season came out, and I decided to watch it with a friend. In this episode, we finally
Because to be a special grade, you have to be able to take over a nation or destroy a nation or something. And Kirara's technique is just closer to like Gojo's Infinity, more so. Kirara doesn't seem to have any huge destructive capability, so how can you argue that Kirara is a special grade?
see the debut of Kirara's curse technique, Love Rendezvous. And while watching, I could only think to myself, there has to be a better way of using that power. I mean, she's literally manipulating some laws of physics with her curse technique, but she's still somehow this weak? Even when I brought this up to my friend that I was watching this with, all he said was,
Nah, bro, she's not that strong. Her curse technique is better for support.
but
Yeah, I agree with that.
I just can't agree with that. I think that if she used her curse technique correctly, Kirara could be special grade. So I started looking up shit about her curse technique just to make sure I understood it correctly. And I thought I did, but I didn't realize she couldn't mark objects remotely. She has to physically touch them. When I learned this, I was thinking of giving up and moving on to.
Yeah, Kirara's curse technique was mad confusing at first. I'm not even gonna lie. It kind of works like Gojo's Infinity. Kirara has to like touch stuff, and then there's a certain specific order you have to go into. It's kind of confusing, honestly. It's really confusing.
A new video idea.
Kirara's technique is probably more confusing than even Hikari's jackpot or Hikari's just technique in general.
But that's how losers think. This entire show's community has been pushing agendas for years now.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
time I push my own.
I still remember the fraud Kuna, clown Kuna memes, bro.
I will prove that Kirara can be special grade. Now, when I say special grade, I don't specifically mean being able to take down a country all on her own.
Oh, okay, fair then. Yeah, okay, cause that's the definition of special grade usually, being able to take over a nation. So if we're not using that definition, yeah, that's fine. Kirara's curse technique is pretty overpowered outside of like taking over a nation, and like if we're just talking about special grade in terms of strength, I would probably still disagree, but like Kirara does have a pretty good technique. That's what I'll say.
I mean, I don't see how
I would say Kirara is closer to like grade 1.
other special grades could even do that, with the sole exception of Gojo Sats. So to make Kirara special grade, we're just gonna say she has to be able to beat one of the other special grades. And for this,
Well, Kirara stands like no chance at doing that. So maybe adult Geto, but no. The only special grades are like what? If we're talking about Jujutsu sorcerers, it's only going to be adult Geto. It's going to be Yuta Kotsu. It's going to be Yuki Tsukumo and what? Just Gojo. I'm pretty sure it's those 4, right? How is Kirara going to win?
we'll make her fight Geto. No, not Kenjaku, Geto.
Okay, so adult Geto. Okay, yeah.
Also, before I get into this
Honestly, adult Geto logically should still like mid-diff Kirara.
video, I just want to say, I know Kirara isn't a femboy and that she's trans. If you got one of the titles that refers to her as a femboy,
Lord.
that was only for clickbait purposes. I don't want to offend
Oh, dear Lord.
anybody or any communities. Okay, with that being said, enough yapping.
Yeah, Kirara had the JJK fandom in shambles, bro. I don't know why people were so obsessed, bro. Especially considering Kirara was only in JJK for literally 1 episode. Like, even if you can't figure out Kirara's gender or whatever the controversy is, does it really matter? Just watch the show, bro.
Let's get into the good shit. Alright, if I'm honest, Kirara has a very confusing curse technique, so let me try to explain it in a simple way. Kirara's curse technique, Love Rendezvous, allows her to mark objects using up to 5 different stars from the Southern Cross.
Bro, I remember people were getting surprised that Megumi had abs, bro. Like literally, people were just kind of glazing this episode because Megumi had abs, and stuff. They were just surprised.
Constellation. Now, to make this even simpler, we'll just say that she can mark objects and people with the numbers 1 through 5. Alright, now let's say that she marked someone or something with the number 1. This marked object cannot approach the other marked objects unless it follows a specific order. For example, 1 cannot go to 5, 4, or 3 without going to 2, then 3, and so on.
Yep, I remember this part of Kirara's curse technique.
So, her curse technique has this power of repellent. Panda even says it's similar to Gojo's Infinity. Now, another part of this curse technique is that she can mark multiple things with the same star, which causes them to be drawn to each other. Granted, when she does this, she may need to remove a star.
Okay, I already know. I'm already predicting this guy's about to be on some super smart shit, bro. He's gonna figure out some type of way, like, he's gonna figure out some type of way that Kirara can defeat Adult Geto, I'm assuming, using Kirara's, curse technique, which, yeah, I couldn't even think of anything because it's just like I barely understand Kirara's curse technique, like, in general, to like a huge degree. It's just kind of confusing.
From something. She can only have up to 5 different stars on 5 different objects. But I don't think that'll be a problem since we just have her going against one special grade sorcerer. Alright, the first way that we have to upscale Kirara.
Honestly, Adult Geto is the weakest special grade sorcerer, 100%.
Kirara is to make a new way for her to mark objects without touching them herself, since that could be dangerous. Now, I'm gonna go on a bit of a whim here and say that the way that she marks an object is when her cursed energy makes contact with someone else's cursed energy. Also, I don't even feel like this is even a whim. I mean, all of Jujutsu revolves around cursed energy, so it only makes sense. Also, the fact that she has to mark other people's cursed energy and not always touch them physically is more proof. Anyways, tangent aside, we can use this fact to our advantage. We've seen early on that sorcerers can shoot cursed energy from themselves. So if Kirara were to shoot cursed energy at something, theoretically she should be able to mark it. And even if this doesn't apply, she could still have some sort of ranged weapon or a set of small objects that she could imbue with her cursed energy and send towards objects that she wants to mark. With this in mind, we no longer have to worry about marking enemies since we found a ranged way to do it. Now, what we do have to worry about is the offensive potential of her technique. As we see her use it, Kirara uses her curse technique to do attacks like attracting a car to Panda or attracting Shikigami to their owner. But realistically, what's stopping her from attracting entire buildings towards her enemies, especially in 1v1s?
Okay, if Kirara could really like get like the Eiffel Tower or something, or just get some huge building thrown at, Adult Geto, yeah, I could see Kirara probably winning, yeah.
Not only that, but she can also attract a cursed tool to her opponent, and using the right cursed tool, she can do some funky shit. I mean, if she has the Dragon Bone, she can have it flying around, making her opponent wonder when it will go in for the kill. And let's not forget the repelling part of her curse technique. If she marks an enemy and the cursed tool that they're using, unless the enemy can figure out her technique, they can no longer use that cursed tool since it will always repel from them. Also, I wouldn't think she can do this, but if she can mark specific body parts, there's nothing stopping her from marking opponents' limbs and making them repel from their body, or even—
Okay, yeah, that would be cold. If that was possible, like hypothetically, yeah, that would be cold. That would be hella cold.
Even worse, she could mark their internal organs and do some funky business and probably just make them implode or explode. I mean, she has a powerful technique. That's been established. But
honestly, I think it's believable. I think Akutami just didn't really want to explore with Kirara's character. But like, if Akutami genuinely wrote Kirara into the story, into like the Culling Games fighting, yeah, honestly, I could see Kirara being able to maybe do some of this stuff.
What if we took her technique and reversed it?
Ooh,
By the
okay.
way,
Hold on. So we get into curse technique reversals. I don't even know how that would really look for Kirara's technique. we know that with curse technique reversals, like for example, Gojo's blue, right? Gojo has blue, that's his normal state, and then the reversal is red. So it should just simply be the opposite of Kirara's normal technique. But I don't know how that would even work, because Kirara's technique is like confusing in the first place.
Made it this far and you're enjoying the video, it would really help if you subscribed, and also like the video if you want to see more stuff like this. Also, damn, I'm saying also a lot. Anyways, check out my Twitch and my Discord if you like my stuff. And sorry for the shameless plug, let's get back to the video. In Jujutsu Kaisen, sorcerers can improve their curse technique by taking the positive curse energy often used for healing and applying it to their curse technique. This is called curse technique reversal, and we see this in characters like Gojo. By default, when he applies negative curse energy to his curse technique, it results in the ability blue. But by multiplying the negative energy against itself, sorcerers can create positive energy, and this can be used for healing, or they can apply it to their curse technique. For example, when Gojo applies this positive energy to his curse technique, it results in the ability red. Now, let's try to apply this to Kirara. There are two ways I could see her curse technique reversal. The first is that by reversing her curse technique, it inverts the attraction and repelling rules of the stars, and maybe the objects that she marks with positive energy are named differently or are based on a different constellation. This means that if the marked object doesn't follow the constellation in the right order, instead of being repelled, it would be attracted. The second way I can see her curse technique reversal is that by reversing her curse technique, the stars have to follow the opposite order. Now, I think the more realistic version of this is the inverted rules of attraction and repellent. I mean, it quite literally reverses the main function of the power, so it only makes sense.
Okay, I guess the former probably makes more sense rather than just changing the order. Yeah, that's fair.
Now, let's apply this curse technique reversal to actual combat. Let's say that Kirara can mark 5 more objects using positive energy. That's 5 more marked things for her opponent to worry about. And these new marks would have to follow new logic. So instead of Mark 1 having to go to Mark 2, it's repelled from Mark 2 and attracted to Mark 5, then 4, then 3, and so on. Also, if she marks 2 things with the same star, they would repel, which could make it easier for her to repel things like weapons an opponent is using away from them, because with the normal technique, she needs 3 stars to do that, but with the reverse, she would only need 2. She can also mark her opponent with a positive mark and a negative mark, allowing her to basically control them at will, depending on how she marks the surrounding area, of course. With this reversal, instead of not moving where the constellation is ordered, the opponent is constantly attracted to the next star. I mean, the way I imagine it, if she becomes skilled enough, she can basically just manipulate her opponent or herself like she has gravity control. Maybe a bit less freely, but you get the idea. Now, Kirara is very strong at this point, but I can make her even stronger. I mean, up until now, we've only been talking about her curse technique. We haven't even incorporated the other parts of Jujutsu sorcery.
Wait, but what else? Bro, I'm gonna be honest, we only saw Kirara for like 1 or 2 episodes. All we saw was like Kirara's curse technique. I guess Kirara, could reveal her curse technique to like buff it. Maybe use like a chant or a binding vow, maybe a binding vow.
Such as...
But bro, Kirara doesn't have domain expansion though. But okay, this is hypothetical.
Kirara's domain
What would that even look like though, low key? What would Kirara's domain expansion look like?
Expansion could be a million different things with a technique that's this complex. But I think it would look something like Megumi's domain, something that would perfect her technique. Kirara's domain would probably allow her to mark an infinite number of objects inside, and she can probably also mark whatever.
Well, hey, you know what? Honestly, if we give Kirara domain expansion, sure. She probably beats Adult Geto, right? I don't even think Adult Geto had a domain expansion. All Adult Geto had was a maximum technique. Like from the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie, all Adult Geto really had was he had Playful Cloud, and he had like a maximum technique, Uzumaki. But like, we didn't see him use a domain expansion. So maybe if Kirara has a domain expansion and it's somewhat lethal, and Kirara uses the domain expansion, then yeah, maybe Adult Geto is cooked.
in her domain completely
And I don't think Adult Ghetto was confirmed to have any anti-domain techniques. I don't remember the whole JJK Zero movie, but I don't think Adult Ghetto has Hollow Wicker Basket or, New Shadow Style Simple Domain. I don't think he has any anti-domain techniques.
remotely. Now, she would really benefit from an open domain like Sukuna, but we've only seen him do that, so that shit ain't happening.
Yeah, it's not happening. Only Kenjaku and Sukuna were able to get open domains. Even Gojo couldn't figure out how to open his domain.
Anyways, her domain would perfect her technique and allow her to mark anything within it infinitely. Quick JJK spoiler warning for the manga, I would skip to this timestamp if you don't want to be spoiled on a domain that hasn't been animated yet. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Naoya's domain is a great...
Oh my god, bro. Naoya's domain is overpowered as hell. I did not expect him to talk about Naoya. I was expecting like Gojo or Sukuna or something for some reason. But yeah, Curse Spirit Naoya is actually hella overpowered, bro. If you know what the sure hit effect of Time Cell Moon Palace does, bro, it's busted, bro. Literally, to the cellular level, you will like be cut or whatever. Like if you don't follow the 24 frames per second rule, your body will just be cut down to a cellular level. It's so broken.
example of what Kirara's
The sure hit effect of Naoya's domain is probably like the fourth strongest in the entire verse within Jujutsu Kaisen. Number one is, Unlimited Void, obviously the infinite information. Number two, Mahito's self-embodiment of perfection, idle transfiguration, Number three, I'm actually gonna say your spoiler alert, Yorozu's domain expansion, because Yorozu has a perfect sphere. And what the perfect sphere basically has infinite pressure or infinite pressure points, meaning if it touches you, you literally will just be erased from existence. You automatically die. So yeah, right after Yorozu's is Naoya. So Naoya's is fourth place again for me. Yeah.
domain could be like. In Naoya's domain, he can apply his projection sorcery to an opponent on a cellular level. In Kirara's domain, she could most likely mark parts of her opponent's body down to a cellular level, and basically make her opponent implode or explode for the quickest kill. She can also just control her opponent or herself like
Well, yeah, if we're giving Kirara that, either making the opponent able to explode or implode, then yeah, it's pretty much GG's. Geto does not have a domain expansion. So yeah.
she has gravity control by marking certain parts of her opponent's body or her body with certain stars and making them repel or attract. Her domain's sure hit effect is terrifying. With infinite stars, there's infinite possibilities. But she doesn't even need to expand her domain. She would benefit from just a simple domain. Simple domains can be used defensively and offensively, but when
Wait, how are simple domains used offensively though? I thought they were literally... Oh wait, no. Actually, no. Miwa did use simple domain as part of like her sword technique to instantly cut down anybody within her range, I think. I'd still argue that simple domains are mostly defensive. They're just meant to protect from other domain expansions.
intrigues me is how she could use her simple domain offensively. We've seen sorcerers use simple domains offensively by attacking whatever enters them, so using her curse technique
Oh, I thought that was only for Miwa specifically. I didn't even know that. I literally thought... Well, actually... It's kind of tough. I don't know if like... I forget what Miwa called the ability. Like, she used simple domain, right? I think she was fighting against, like, Maki or somebody. Maki still ended up kind of blitzing her, but, like... I guess simple domain has some type of auto defense technique.
Kirara can start flying towards her opponent or make her opponent fly towards her and activate a simple domain. And once they enter the domain, she can attack them, basically guaranteeing a free hit. And maybe if they stay in the domain, they just constantly get hit until she deactivates it. She could also use her simple domain defensively, of course. If somehow her opponent figures out her curse technique because of the plot, I'm looking at you, Megami. she can just activate simple domain
Hey, Megumi, honestly, Megumi got a high battle IQ. He's up there with like with Yuta Kotsu.
and defend until she can apply new stars to her opponent. Now, there's a bunch of other Jujutsu shenanigans that she can use, like binding vows.
Honestly, I think due to the fight with Reggie, I think a lot of people actually believe that Megumi's battle IQ is actually indeed higher than Yuta's battle IQ. Cause yeah, Yuta was kind of intelligent during Sendai Colony. He was using good battle IQ, but Megumi versus Reggie was kind of on a different level.
Domain amplification and reverse curse technique, but I won't get into those. With all of these abilities, Kirara can definitely beat some of the special grade sorcerers if you ask me.
With all of these abilities, if we're being genuine, with all of these abilities that he discussed in the video, Kirara is probably still not beating all of these special grades. Obviously not defeating Gojo. Kirara is still going to lose to Yuta Kotsu, Domain Diff, unless we just give Kirara some insane level of barrier refinement. But, like, in general, Yuta still Domain Diffs, and Yuki Tsukumo is also probably going to Domain Diff just due to refinement. But yeah, Kirara slams Adult Ghetto, though. Yeah, if you give Kirara a domain expansion, Kirara Domain Diffs Adult Ghetto.
I mean, let's go
Especially if we're giving her the ability to like make people implode, explode, everything that we kind of went over in the video.
over how much stronger we made her. We came up with a way for her to mark objects from a distance. We improved her offensive abilities by talking about how she could use her attracting and repelling powers for combat. Let's not
Heck, honestly, Kirara could even beat Hajime Kashimo, because y'all remember Kashimo doesn't have a domain expansion. I know a lot of people like to glaze Kashimo, but he's not confirmed to have a domain expansion. Now, if Kashimo uses MBA, obviously he's going to blitz Kirara before she even opens her domain expansion. Honestly, even in base, Kashimo is probably going to blitz and kill Kirara. Actually, I take it back. Kirara probably won't beat Kashimo. I think Kashimo would just use his sure hit lightning before Kirara can even say domain expansion. I take it back.
forget that her base curse technique has very strong defensive abilities. We came up with her curse technique reversal, which lets her mark 10 things in total and can confuse a
And even then, what Kashimo does have is he has an anti-domain technique. He has I believe Kashimo has Hollow Wicker Basket. Therefore, let's say Kirara does open her domain expansion. Kashimo uses Hollow Wicker Basket, which will probably at least let him survive and at least let him not be affected by the sure hit effect for at the very least 30 seconds. Right? I think that's the usual amount of time that simple domains or anti-domain techniques kind of last. So let's just say 30 seconds. And yeah, within those 30 seconds, Kashimo is just going to, speed blitz Kirara.
opponents even more, and could also pretty much give her gravity manipulation if she were to practice it enough. Her domain could also be one of the most powerful in the series because it could pretty much just give her gravity manipulation when inside of it, and she could also just make her opponents implode, explode, or get their limbs torn off. She becomes one of the most overpowered simple domain users with her curse technique, almost guaranteeing a hit if she attracts her opponent to her simple domain. And if practiced, she could probably also learn the other parts of Jujutsu sorcery, such as reverse.
It really is sad, bro. Kirara's curse technique, or just Kirara as a character, kind of wasted. For obvious reasons, Akutami only had Kirara in the story for, again, literally one episode, for like 2 chapters in the manga.
Curse technique, domain amplification, and all the other shit. I will push the Kirara agenda till the day that I die, because there's no way with all of this, she isn't special grade.
Oh, with all this, yeah. With everything discussed in the video, probably at least top 7 within the entire Jujutsu Kaisen verse. Now, the main issue is Kirara's domain expansion refinement, and also just the lack of having an open domain, right? Kenjaku is still going to defeat Kirara because Kirara's domain expansion is closed, right? Like, if we were to give her one, it would be a closed domain expansion. So Kenjaku still solos, Gojo obviously solos, Sukuna solos, Maharaga, if we're giving Kirara like explosions and implosions, Maharaga gets one shot. But Yuki Tsukumo also domain diffs, all of that. But I will admit, yeah, special grade, and yeah, Kirara would probably mid diff adult Geto.
She can pretty much manipulate gravity, mimic Gojo's infinity, and make her opponents explode or implode. Anyways, Yuta's a fraud, Toto's a goat, and
Bruh, come on. You ain't no fraud. But yeah, Toto is goated. It's so hard to slander Toto. His curse technique is crazy. And he reminds me of Mirio from My Hero Academia. He has a weak curse technique / quirk, but they utilize it correctly, right? That is the one similarity between Mirio from My Hero Academia and Toto with Boogie Woogie from Jujutsu Kaisen.
please, for love of God, end the modulo Yuji glaze.
Nah, for real though, this was insane. Like, this is just stupid.